Hello and welcome to another session in mathematics. In this session we'll be looking at trigonometry, but before that let us take a review of our previous lesson. Welcome back. Our focus in today's lesson will be on sine rule of trigonometry, sine rule. Okay, so we'll start with a definition of sine rule, and then we'll go over to when to use it and when not to use it, and then how we can apply it. So let us start with the sine rule. The sine rule states that the sides are proportional to the sizes of the opposite angles to them. The sides, like the sides, are proportional to the sizes of what the opposite angles to them. Okay, and the sine rule is giving us a all over sine A equal to b all over sine B equal to c all over sine C. Or similarly, we can use sine A over A equals sine B over B equals sine C all over C. Okay, so this is the formula we'll be using under what the sine rule. Just bear it in mind. Okay, so when do we use sine rule? When in trigonometry do we use sine rule? We use sine rule when two angles and any side are given. Two angles and then one side. When this condition is met, then you can apply what? Sine rule. And remember, the side that is given must be opposite to one of the given angles. The side that is given must be opposite to one of the given angles. Then secondly, we use sine rule when two sides and an angle are given. Two sides and then one angle, and then the angle that is given must be opposite to one of the given sides. When this condition is met too, we can apply what? Sine rule. So we have two angles and one side, and then two sides and one angle. So when these conditions are met, you can use a sine rule. Then when are we not to use sine rule? You don't use sine rule if you are solving a right angle triangle. Do not use sine rule if you are solving what? A right angle triangle. It's not as if it's wrong to use sine rule when solving a right angle triangle, but it's unnecessarily long. Okay, then you don't use sine rule when solving an isosceles triangle. Okay, so having known this, let us go over to how we can apply the sine rule in a problem. Number one example: in triangle ABC, if line BC is equal to 12 cm, line AC is equal to 18 cm, and angle at B is 70 degrees, solve the triangle. Now, to solve the triangle means to find the missing angles and then to find the missing sides. Okay, you must find all the missing angles and sides completely. So we have a triangle. Now this triangle, we are told it's called what? A, B, C, and line AC is 18 cm, then line BC is 12 cm. Angle at B, which is here, is what? Is 70 degrees. Now this side is not given, line BA is not given, angle at C is not given, and also angle at A is not given. So the question is, which of these do we use? We have A over sine A equal to B over sine B equal to C over sine C. You don't use the three together, you use two, okay, and leave one. So the question is, how do you determine the ones to use and the ones you don't use? Now in this question, angle at B is given, and small letter b, which is side B, is given. This is small letter c, this is small letter a. Okay, the line facing capital letter C is the side C, the side facing capital letter B is the small letter b, and then the side facing angle at A is what? The small letter a. So having known this, now we'll see that B is given. We have 70 as the angle and we have 18 as the side, so we use B, number 1. And then looking at the triangle, side A is given, but the angle at A is not given. So we start by solving for what? The angle at A. Since we are solving for angle at A, therefore we use A. So we use A and B. So we use A all over sine A to be equal to B all over sine B. Let us now substitute their values. If we substitute their values, we have a small letter a to be what? 12 all over sine A, since the angle at A is not given, to be equal to side B. Our line B is 18 all over sine angle at B, which is 70 degrees. Okay, what next do? We cross multiply. If we cross multiply, we have something like this: 12 times sine 70 equal to sine A times what? 18. Okay, so that will lead us to having 18 sine A to be equal to 12 sine 70 degrees. Okay, then what do we have? We have sine A to be equal to 12 sine 70 all over 18. That is making sine A the subject of formula. Let's go over to the next page. We have sine A to be equal to 12 sine 70 all over 18. Let's now find the value of sine 70. Sine A is equal to 12 times, what's the value of sine 70? Sine 70 is what? 0.9397 all over 18. Is that correct? So 12 times 0.9397 divided by 18 will give us our sine A to be equal to 0.6265. Cross check what we are doing to check if you get the same answer. Now, to get to the value of A, we then have A to be equal to sine inverse. Sine crossing over becomes minus sine, but we don't write it as minus sine. We write it as what? Sine raised to power minus 1, and we'll call it what? Sine inverse. So we take the sine inverse of 0.6265. How do we press sine inverse? On your calculator, your scientific calculator, press shift. There's a place written shift. Press shift, then press sine. Okay, and then add the number 0.6265. Press your equal to, then our A will give us what? 38.8 degrees. Is that correct? So we've gotten A to be what? 38.8 degrees. So it's now left for C, and the total angle in this triangle is what? Is 180. Is that correct? So to find the angle at C, we then have 180 minus 70 plus 38.8. So we have C, angle at C to be equal to 180 minus 108.8. Angle at C will then give us 180 minus 108.8 will give us 71.2 degrees. That's the angle at C. So now we've gotten the value of angle at C. Okay, so what is left is what? Side C, and therefore we use B and C. We use B and what? C. So we have B over sine B equal to C over sine C. So what's the value of our B? Our B is 18 cm. We have 18 over sine 70, since the angle at B is 70, will be equal to C, which is not given, all over sine. What's the value of sine C? 71.2 degrees. Okay, we then have, if we cross multiply, we then have C sine 70 to be equal to 18 times sine 71.2 degrees. Then C is equal to 18 times sine 71.2 degrees all over sine 70. That is trying to make C the subject of what? Formula. Is that true? So we have 18 times what's the value of sine 71.2 is 0.9466 all over sine 70. Sine 70 is 0.9397. Okay, so C is equal to 18 times this divided by this will give us 18.13, and that's the value of what? Line C, and is in cm. So that is that. Example number 2. Solve the triangle ABC, giving A to be equal to 7.5, angle at B to be 40 degrees, and angle at C to be 35 degrees. So let us draw the diagram. We have a diagram A, B, and C. Okay, and they told us that angle at C, which is here, is 35. Angle at B, which is here, is 40 degrees. And then line A, which is here, is 7.5. So what's the first thing we need to do? The first thing we need to do is to find the angle here. Let's call it theta. Theta is equal to 180, since the total angle in a triangle is 180, minus 40 plus 35. Okay, so we have 180 minus 40 plus 35 is 75. 180 minus 75 will give us what? 105 degrees. So that's the value of what? Angle at A. So since we found the value of angle at A, we now replace it with 105 degrees. Angle at A is given, side A is given. So to find the side B, we use A and B. A over sine A equal to B over sine B. Okay, let us start. Our side A is 7.5 all over sine A, which is sine 105 degree, to be equal to side B, which is not given, all over sine 40 degrees. Is that correct? So if we cross multiply, we have B sine 105 degree to be equal to 7.5 times sine 40 degrees. Then making B the subject of formula, B is equal to 7.5 times sine 40 all over sine 105 degrees. B is equal to 7.5 times, what's the value of sine 40? What's the value of sine 40? Sine 40 will give us 0.6428 all over sine 105 is 0.9659. Okay, so 7 times 0.4628 divided by 0.9659 will give us B to be equal to 4.82 divided by 0.9659, which is equal to 4.99 cm. Okay, that's the value of our side B. That's the value of B here. Okay, so to find the value of side C, which is here, we also use A and C. We have A over sine A equal to C over sine C, and that will give us our small letter A is what? 7.5. 7.5 over sine 105 equal to side C, which is not given, all over angle at C, which is 35 degree, sine 35. Okay, what do we have then? We have if we cross multiply, we have C sine 105 to be equal to 7.5 sine 35 degree, making C the subject of formula. C is equal to 7.5 times sine 35 degree all over sine 105 degree. Okay, and that will give us C to be equal to 7.5 times, what's the value of sine 35 degree? We have 0.5736 all over sine 105, which is 0.9659. okay, and if you multiply this and divide, you have your answer to be 4.45 centimeter as our answer. Okay, thank you for joining us in our class today. We'll stop here. So to refresh your memory of what we've done, kindly provide the answer to the following questions on the screen. Welcome back. So far we've been able to do justice to sine rule of trigonometry, and we've taken some examples to illustrate how it works. So we'll stop here. Therefore, do well to use the lesson note on the platform for better information on what we've just done, and feel free to leave your questions or comment on the comment section if you have any. Till we meet again in our next class, stay safe and bye.